Okay, we're recording.
Hello.
Hello. Hi, we are The Act. Today we're doing a Q&A. My name is Annabelle. Who wants to go next?
I'm Carson.
All right. I'm Tyrus.
Raine?
I said my name.
You did? I missed it. See, I was going to live stream it, but I was concerned it would be awkward, but I guess I have nothing to worry about because it's going to be awkward anyway.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get around that.
It's just our natural state of being.
Natural state of being. Okay, so Dietrich asks, when's that COVID album dropping?
What? COVID album? You told that already? That was supposed to be a secret.
Ah, darn it.
I have a joke about our COVID album. It's going to be killer.
It's gonna be killer.
You get rid of the
Bye.
Oh no.
It's going to spread like wildfire.
Anonymous asks, are you practicing social distancing?
Yeah, I never do anything else.
I break into people's rooms
We've been
and I
practicing this.
spit in their mouth. I'm just kidding.
Tyrus, the FBI is gonna come to your door. Don't say things like that.
The FBI.
Yeah,
Okay.
practicing. It does certainly feel like something that needs to be practiced, I guess. It feels very weird. I miss playing music with people the most. That's been what's really hard. Oh my God, like just driving me nuts. I set up my little, I have a little thing that I set up in my RV to record just so that I can key in things on a MIDI keyboard, but it's not the same. It just doesn't feel right. I miss Tyrus the most, honestly. Bassists need their drummers. That's true. So yeah, practicing, social distancing kind of sucks, but yeah, making it work.
That's right. We're musicians. Okay, what instrument does everybody play for any new people?
Tyrus first.
I play the drum kits, the amazing 100-year-old instruments. It's a great instrument.
Rainy. What do you play, Carson?
I play this bass.
Is that a bass?
I play bass a lot. I love bass. And I sing.
It's always good.
I play guitar and I sing. I play saxophone occasionally.
I play trumpet and I sing and I play the piano sometimes and I have a ukulele.
Right
I
on.
can't play it yet, but
Yeah, that'd be cool. Raine's basically the coolest of us, so it's like, you know, why are the rest of us even playing music? So it's
Why
just
bother?
I've given up.
sounds like
quick question.
yes to me.
Quick question. How are we oriented? Or how are we oriented on your screen, Annabelle? Who's below me?
Nobody's below you.
Is anybody to my left
No.
or my right?
I'm above you. Tyrus is to your right.
Okay.
Rainy is above Tyrus. I'm to Rainy's left.
Cool.
You guys are
So
all
if
in a line.
I'm going to point to
Me,
Tyrus like this.
Annabelle, Tyrus, and then Carson.
I'm glad we worked out these details.
Hey,
Next
we're gonna
question.
do like a
Oh shoot,
Question.
Tyrus and Carson switched.
What?
Am I muted?
I
don't
can't
know.
play.
no.
Okay, good. Thought I was. Said I was. That I unmuted myself.
Oh, interesting.
Weird.
Okay,
Social muting.
shall we
We're talking.
continue? Okay, Dietrich also asks, anything new in the works? I think we could take this as a band and as individuals as well.
Well, we're releasing a super cool music video, right?
Yeah, that's tomorrow. Well,
I guess.
it'll be today for who was watching this.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
that'll be nice.
I saw it on YouTube though.
Yeah, I might have screwed up.
What the-
Nobody has to know that.
Okay, I will.
And you're fired.
Well, while we're talking about the video, I want to just give a shout out to Nick Brumfield, who directed our video.
Hey, Nick
Nick, we love Nick.
Brumfield.
Super cool. If you wanted to check him out, you could follow him on Instagram at Nick Brumfield, I think 60, or N Brumfield 67, I think. Oh gosh, that's probably not it. Anyways, his name is Nick Brumfield, and you can look him up on LinkedIn and on Instagram, and he's just super cool and super great to work with, and we highly recommend him.
Where are we gonna post this?
I think we're gonna post it on YouTube, and maybe some.
Let's put the link in the description, people.
97.
Woo!
And Brumfield 97.
97.
Wow, nailed it.
Awesome. Thank you, Raine.
What's in the works, Rainey?
The only thing that I've been working on is a sourdough starter. So
Ooh.
That's great. That's in the
awesome.
works.
I haven't even practiced in like a couple days. I've just been so lacking motivation to do like anything.
That's fair.
Yeah.
The
Sorry.
sunlight levels have gone down. It's
Yeah.
like darker outside more often now than it was like 2 weeks ago.
Really? No, we're still gaining daylight right now.
I mean, it's been stormy and rainy and
Mm.
yeah, like we had a bunch of sunny, nice days in like the 50s and 60s for a while.
Yeah, that's true. Although this morning was pretty beautiful.
Today has been amazing.
Yeah.
Really pretty out there. Sourdough starter though, that stuff is great.
Yeah.
And once you have it started, you can just keep drawing on that, on the same culture. So
Yeah, it's sitting in my window right now. It's
nice.
gray and cloudy and raining currently in where I'm at.
Well, Raine, what's in the works, Tyrus?
Well, I've been practicing guitar, and I've sort of been practicing drums. I haven't been really playing drums recently, just because I got a new puppy.
Nice.
Got a new
Carson.
puppy.
What?
Tell me.
Sorry.
You have to pick
Picture
it up
send it to you.
and put its face in the camera.
Yeah, go
Yeah.
get the puppy right now.
What's
All
the
right.
puppy's name?
What's in the works for Tyrus? It's the puppy.
It was Milo, but now people call him Roscoe.
Oh.
Don't know why. My cousin Haley just dropped him off. Just was like, hey, I can't, kind of tired of this puppy, so take care of it for me.
What?
My mom wanted a puppy because my dad took the other dog. So, but that's good.
Yeah.
He's a handful. Other than that, I've been, what else have I been doing? Oh, been reading. I've been part of a book club, and I
Whoa.
finished The Old Man and the Sea, which is a good one by Ernest Hemingway. Now I'm reading Sense and Sensibility, which I really like.
So cool.
It
Love
is.
Jane Austen.
It is fun. First chapter was a little, because it just dumps information on you. I literally had to take notes to be like, what is the connection between these sisters and John Dashwood and all this other dumb stuff. But yeah, that, and also been writing, trying to keep myself busy. But that's about it for me. What about you, Carson?
Yeah, Carson.
What are you doing?
Well, as far as my life goes, I work on an organic farm as a field hand, and I have planted hundreds and hundreds of plants at this point. Started many seeds and planted many things. So what we are coming up with right now is spinach. So spinach is the first thing that we've planted in our harvesting, and we got our first harvest of spinach today. So that was in the works, and it's delicious. And the leaves are already huge. I mean, we call them face leaves because you can cover your face with the spinach.
Wow.
What's in the works? I've been working on tracking down. I've been writing a lot of music just because I have time, and I reworked an old song and then wrote 4 new ones, and then I have a 5th one that I'm trying to get down to, so that's always nice. I live in an RV, and I set up a little dinky, like I said, a dinky little recording thing so that I can lay down easy tracks to send off to Diphthong so that they can learn grooves. But I haven't sent any yet because they're not ready.
That's
I
cool.
work, I don't know, there's probably some people that relate to this, but I work in like big streaks into one thing. Like I'll put 4 hours into this thing and then I won't touch it for like 2 weeks. And every day I'll put like 2 or 4 hours into another project. So no projects ever get finished, but I've got like all these different ones that are starting. So that's what's in the works for me.
Right on.
Yeah. That's about all I've got.
So we've got the video coming out today, technically. And then I think once it's safe to go outside again with the whole pandemic, we'll probably plan a tour, but I want to hold on to any further details on that.
Tour.
Yes, the tour. Okay. And then for me, I've been reading. It's been awesome. I've been reading. I'm a big fan of Graham Hancock.
Yes,
of the
Graham
Gods.
Hancock, dude. I love Graham.
He's so
awesome.
cool. He's a journalist who writes about archaeology and lost civilizations, and I'm a huge fan. I could tell my archaeology teacher was not about it when I cited him in my archaeology paper, but so I really love Graham Hancock, and I've been reading Pride and Prejudice, and I've been reading the Twilight series again. I really love that world. No, Tyrus.
I'm just kidding.
I've been reading the first Twilight with my mom, so that's been kind of fun.
That's cool.
And then crocheting a bit. So it's kind of nice to take a little bit of the focus off of music for at least last week and a little bit of this week. And then I'm just trying to casually write, so I'm not putting too much stress into it. So it hopefully comes out a little bit more naturally. So that's what I've been up to.
Nice.
Okay.
I'm making some art as well.
Art.
You guys, it's digital.
Are you going to show us?
Yeah.
Ooh, screen share.
Yep. Oh.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Nice, Raine.
Oh, my God. That's dope. That's key 3.
Yeah.
Super cool.
Oh, my God.
Here.
Oh, yeah.
You
We're all
get
in a
an
D&D
A.
group.
That's wonderful. Is that the Ralabast behind you?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God.
Why isn't it doing the thing? There it goes.
That is so freaking
Oh, that looks
dope.
amazing, Raine.
That's just the line art so far, but
So you can
see
flip it
whatever
upside
you
down. That's
What did you
great.
say?
Yo,
Hey, would you mind if I just grab something?
you can grab something.
Is that
Grab
your
some-
brother?
Yeah.
No.
Ah, hi.
No, I'm convinced.
Bye. That's so are you like drawing that with a pen on a screen or something, or are you mousing that in?
I got a drawing tablet.
Nice.
Very cool. I think we should mention that we're all in a D&D group together that Carson DMs.
Yes, we haven't met in a long time, just because of the whole situation. But we're trying to work it out. Tons of fun. These guys are the best players I could ever ask for. Amazing. When they show up, at least. Tyrus.
Call that.
I'm leaving.
Raine, I want to see a picture of your familiar one of these days. I want to see what it looks like.
Make one from
Oh
there.
yeah, I forgot its name. I would remember if I looked at my notes.
Takma.
So we have a crazy fan.
Yep.
And she
It's Hayden.
asks, who would you say is, just the best fan ever? Who is this stalker? Gosh, what a stalker. And then straight out, she asks, who is your favorite fan? And additionally, how do you get that bread? Let's get this bread.
I cannot believe I knew. We have a crazy fan. It's Hayden. I don't need to hear anything else.
Anonymous asks, how do you deal with the groupies? And I just want to say we split them evenly.
So three out of every 4 groupies we send to Tyrus, and the rest of them join the band.
Oh, that's a good point.
Yeah, that's how I started. I went
That's
through
how I
one of
started.
the shows, and then the next show I was at, I was in the band.
Yep. That's simple.
Rock on. So what else do we have?
We embrace all of our groupies. We have lots of equipment, so if you come to a gig, help us carry it inside.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. We will give you a free t-shirt.
We make the bread.
Oh, there it is.
Oh,
Is that cheesecloth?
nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I use it to make canna butter as well.
You crazy girlfriend. Okay. A good friend, Ari, asks, any advice for young musicians out there?
We are young musicians.
That's a good point.
All right.
Overwhelmingly
first.
underqualified to give any advice.
That's a good point. It was nice to get the question regardless, though.
Yeah.
I have good advice.
What's your advice?
So my advice, well, if you're a young musician, and let's just assume like a middle school or a high school level, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're in like university or college and you're trying to figure your stuff out, like just go for what feels right, you know. And happiness is always going to be a better reward than profit. At least in my case, I always feel like I'm chasing after things that satisfy me and make me feel like I accomplished something during the day and that I used my time wisely. But if let's assume a high school or a middle school level where basically you get the treatment of don't go into music as a career because you're going to be poor, starving artist, blah, blah, blah. It's super saturated and you have to be the best to do anything and get anything done. If you try to go to school for music, you're going to have tons of debt and all this stuff. This is what was like rammed into my brain at my high school. Whenever like we would talk about careers, a career day, and it's like, come on, man, why did they tell me all that stuff? Because I tried to go into a degree program for a different thing. Like I wanted to do English, and why?
It doesn't stop there either. Like I went to a 4-year university straight out of high school, and the only music degree programs they had were classical performance, music education, or music therapy. And people who were in performance, it was just like everyone just expected them to either end up being poor or switch to being education majors. And so I like, if it is, move to Oregon. So
yep.
But,
yeah, so to dovetail off of that, don't listen to them. There's just this incredible way of inundating our brains with the idea that we have to be chasing like a prosperous career that gets you tons of money so that you can buy a house with a white picket fence and 2.5 kids, right?
And
but if you go and study music as a career, like in college, you're going to reap much more happiness than you will if you choose another subject because you thought you were going to be a starving artist, right? So I guess the point, my advice here was to follow your dreams.
I agree with that. I totally agree with that. I was a dual major when I came to CCC.
Yeah.
And I had made that decision. I almost made the mistake. For me, it was a mistake of going straight into 4-year. And I realized right at the end of my application process that probably wasn't for me. And I'm so glad that I decided to go to 2-year college first, because I changed my major in my head so many times before I actually had to declare in any way. And I was a dual math music major, and I loved the math, but it was taking me away from how ironically demanding the music was,
right,
compared to the math. And I knew that I was always going to be a little bit worse at one of those things, which doesn't mean that I have to sacrifice one or the other at some point, but and I will always love math the way I did, but I just realized that music would give me more happiness for the rest of my life. And I couldn't, even though people were telling me all these careers for the sciences and opportunities for women in the sciences, I just knew that I couldn't see myself there, and I could see myself in music.
Yeah, that's wonderful. I think I think we kind of hit the nail on the head with that one, because so many people get turned away from music at a young age because they don't think they can do it while they do other things that they enjoy.
Yeah.
Right. And there's something to be said about like the university style of music where you just do it all day, all night, like never give up, you know, like 4 hours of sleep, and you're just going ham on the practicing and throwing in the hours like that. But
Which
you
is
know, I
great
think
for
I speak
some
for all
people.
four of us when I say that we have lots of different.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree.
I think I'm having a bad connection. My internet's crapping. Can you guys hear me?
You sound okay.
Okay. Basically, just do it.
Yeah.
Don't
And
get scared
it's not like
of music.
getting a degree and a stable career is going to get you a house with a white picket fence anymore anyway. So why not do something that you actually like doing and be poor like everyone else anyway? So
Or just be
Yeah,
successful.
Life's gonna suck anyway. Just
No, I honestly believe if you don't have like a plan B where you're not psyching yourself out, you can honestly be successful at anything you want to do. You just have to make it work for you. You know, you don't have to be poor. You can still have a career and you can still love music, and that actually might end up working better for you. But I think not allowing your mind to compromise in any way is probably one of the best lessons I ever learned. Do you have anything to add, Tyrus?
I guess I think the best thing to say to somebody who maybe is considering music as in college is to recognize what the reason is why you're going to college for music. If you're going for education, then that it's its own path itself. But if you're going to be a performing musician, then you should recognize what your environment is. And it's not like that matters too much, but what really matters is the connections and the people that you meet along the way. And being kind of the worst musician in the room can go a long way. It can be a humbling experience in knowing, kind of who's boss and all that. You learn a lot of skills that way. And I came from an environment from high school, and so did Annabelle, the same environment where it was kind of disciplined and strict, and everybody was on top of their game. And if you kind of slacked off once, you kind of got lapped off stage.
got the boot.
Not in that way, but I mean, it's just like, there's expectations, and it really, it's really on you kind of as a musician to know what you want, really. Not everybody needs to be the virtuoso classical violinist musician. If you all you want to do is just teach music and share that love with other people, then you don't need to be necessarily the best performing musician you can be. But I mean, it really is kind of like, oh, I want to be a gospel musician, I want to be a gospel drummer. Well, then if you know what you want, then it's kind of set on for you. I feel like really being in a music school is just about meeting good people and learning more about yourself. So that's what I would say to somebody who is considering music, is figure out what you want and figure out what your environment is. That's all.
Hell yeah.
Amen.
Hell yeah. Love it.
Okay. Ari also asks, hold on. How did each person get into music?
Damn. I can't remember.
Raine, you should start.
Oh,
Raine. Tyrus can start. Sorry. I shouldn't have stepped in.
That's okay. Raine, do you want to go first?
Sure. I guess so my mom made me and my 3 older siblings do like everything. She made us take piano lessons and do sports, and we all had to go to swim team at 5 a.m. in the summer, and tennis and whatever else. And And then we all had to be in choir and all this other stuff because she just wanted us to experience as much as we could because we were in a tiny town. There really wasn't much else to do anyway. And doing that also probably kept us out of trouble. But but I didn't really decide that I wanted to do music for like my life until like my senior year of high school. And like the main reason I decided I wanted to do like be a trumpet major was like I just enjoyed hanging out with the band kids the most. Like I was friends with the theater kids and like the kids who were in Excel and all this other shit. And I just like the band nerds were like weird and quirky. Like
Hell
we
yeah,
and,
band
like,
nerds,
so like, I want to meet more people like this, so I should just keep doing that.
And then she did.
Yeah.
Rock on.
I was a band nerd. How did I start? Well, my mom she was a choral director for 20-some, 30-some years. And my family has always been very structured around music. We recorded like karaoke albums and sent them off to my grandparents when we were young as like Christmas gifts. So I was a singer for a long time, and I was like in my mom's choirs at middle school and stuff. But instrumentally, I started on the guitar and hated it, and I don't think I was very good. But when I got an electric bass for the first time, I was like, okay, I can sort of handle this. It's like one note at a time instead of as many as you can. So this is easy. So I started playing electric bass. And before I even knew what the heck to do with it, I joined the middle school jazz band. It was just a combo thing. And I had no idea what I was doing. I couldn't read. I had like no audiation skills whatsoever. I mean, I could sing things if I needed to, but I didn't know where to find it on the bass. And I sure as hell didn't know how to play it. So I was just this magic trifecta of being totally dwarfed in every single way by everyone around me. And it was all like high schoolers too. It was like middle schoolers playing with high schoolers in a jazz combo. So I was getting my ass kicked and just had to figure things out along the way. And as soon as I moved to Oregon, I spent my last 2 years of high school in Oregon, and I joined the band, the Wind Ensemble. And he was like, yeah, you need to learn how to play the upright bass. So I was like, I don't think I can do that. I don't have one. So my grandma got me one. So the bass that I play was a gift, actually, from my grandmother, who played upright bass when she was in high school.
That's so cool.
And it's funny because she's like short. I mean, she's like 5'2". How do you play upright bass when you're 5'2"? Good question. I don't know. I would love to see it one day, but yeah, I got that bass and I taught myself how to play it, and then took some lessons at CCC, 3.5 years later, and now I play it all the time, which is kind of cool. So that's how I started.
Awesome.
What about you, Annabelle?
Let's see. Well, my dad is a musician, and I remember going to elementary school probably when I was only in first grade, and I would declare to my classmates that my dad was a rock star, and I was going to be a rock star when I grew up. And my parents put me in a couple different lessons. I remember particularly hating dance lessons.
Rock star lessons?
I wish. I was in dance lessons and I hated it, and I was so miserable on stage. I was like probably only 3 or 4, and I was so miserable. And I can even remember that. But I still like I think today I appreciate that my parents would try things for me. They would try they would put me in lessons just to see what I liked, and I'm so grateful. And and so I got put into guitar lessons, and my guitar teacher was a songwriter, and he was, they looked up reviews on him. He was good with kids, and his name is Tim Euchre, and we've been friends my entire life. So it's been that was a really good role model to have my dad and then Tim, both these really positive musicians in my life who've made it work for them. And then when I was about 8, I started writing music. And then when I got to high school, I was a freshman. I hadn't written in a really long time. And all of the songs, obviously, when you're younger, you kind of feel like nothing you write is good enough. And, you know, I was only like an 8-year-old writing music. So what could you expect? I didn't have a lot of experience. And I wondered if that was the direction I was going to go in high school. But all of a sudden I picked it back up, and I was songwriting from then on out. And I realized that was what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a songwriter. I wanted to perform. I wanted to have a band. I kind of just wanted to make music my own. And so I'm just grateful that my parents put me in guitar lessons and gave me that foundation and the love of music that I have today, where it's something that I'm drawn to. It's not something that I was turned away from because, you know, like some kids I know turn away from music because they have a really harsh band director, or they have somebody who doesn't make the practicing very fun for them, or they don't understand practicing, and it's, you know, it's intimidating. It's even intimidating for me today as an adult going into the music field. Practicing is still intimidating. So I understand that, and I'm really grateful that I was just set up on such a good path to not be afraid, and just know that, like, if I am afraid, the music has me, and I always have it, and nobody can take it away from me. And it's like probably the one thing that nobody could probably take away from me, you know?
Yep.
And so that's me.
Nice.
Yeah, I love that.
Tyrus.
Well, I came from the same high school as Annabelle. We both went to high school together, and Milwaukee High School's Mustangs. I was in band, concert band since middle school, my 7th grade year. I only joined. There's this thing called Wheel, and you would basically kind of get your taste of every single elective in middle school, and you would go do cooking, you would do, like, I don't know, outdoor stuff, you would go into band, you would go into choir. So I did all of those things in like a wheel throughout the year. And I think it was my second trimester. I think it was in tries in Rao, but I don't know. I did band, and I played clarinet. And
you did?
I did play clarinet.
I didn't know that.
And I was just kind of going through the motions. At that time of my life, I think everybody was kind of just going through the motions, whatever. I don't know what I want to do. And I don't know. I just did it. And then Wheel ended. That was my 6th grade year. 7th grade came along, and I needed to do an elective. And I just did band. I just crossed off something. I didn't care. And then I joined band, and I was planning on doing clarinet, but and there was a form you had your parents to sign this form if you wanted to do percussion, because percussion was harder than everything else in the room, and you needed your parents' permission to see if your kid was smart enough. I don't understand what it was, but it kind of was like, man, if I'm a percussionist, I'm the you know what, like I'm like better than everybody. I'm smarter than everybody. I'm so bad. Like, I'm a percussionist, man. So I got my mom, she got the clarinet for me already, and she was just like, I thought you were playing clarinet. And I gave her the form. I said, no, I want to be a percussionist. And she's like, oh my god, okay. And then she signed it, returned it. I'm a percussionist. And then I've been a percussionist until sophomore year of high school. I did marching band. I was just a percussionist. I didn't really care, though. I didn't practice. I literally just went. I kind of went through the motions still. I just did band because I just did it in middle school, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do until I think sophomore year. The prior jazz drummer moved away. He was moving away. He couldn't do jazz drumming anymore. He was still a junior in high school, and my band director, Greg Van Winkle, said, "Hey, we need a jazz drummer. Can you do it?" And I said, okay, I'll do it. No, I mean, I've been playing drums ever since 8th grade, but it was literally just me going home every day, putting on headphones, and then just playing to like Sweet Home Alabama. And then
that's how it can start, though. That's all it takes.
There's nothing wrong with it, yeah.
No, there's nothing wrong. I listen to the Beatles a lot. and I fawned over Ringo Starr and all that stuff. I thought it was great, and I just tried to play along, and really that's all it took, was just playing along. And I didn't do it correctly, but I tried. So it didn't really give me the foundation for just drumming, but it kind of, I knew how to do eighth notes and stuff. Anyway, summer went by. I I practiced a little bit. I still don't think I practiced enough. I honestly was still going through motions. I was like intimidated, like Annabelle was saying about practicing.
Minecraft.
I'm just like, okay, because I didn't really understand what practicing was. It was work to me, and all I wanted
still
to do
don't.
all I wanted to do was go home and play League of Legends on my computer. That's all I wanted.
Yeah.
So, and I got there, and when I got into that environment, it was like, it's go time. Like, the band director was a drummer, and he was on me all the time, just like constantly like, can't do that. You can't do that. Nice job on that. You can't do this. Don't do this.
Oh my gosh, he was so hard.
He was kind of disciplined. He was a disciplined guy. He came from a marching background, and it's tough. But that kind of motivated me to get better, because a lot of people in the band at that time were, not bad musicians at all. They did their stuff. And if I kind of slacked off, everyone can hear me in the drums. It's really noticeable, and that scared me. That thought of me just totally crash and burning the band, because I was literally the conductor. So yeah, it was just a lot of responsibility, and I didn't really take it for granted. I had a lot of people along the way who motivated me too, including the band director, and I did that until senior year of high school, which I didn't really know if I wanted to do music still. I just was kind of, at that point, I was okay for a high schooler, because I did practice every day, and my time was pretty good, and whatever, jazz big band stuff. And I don't know, I just said, like, whatever, August of 2018, when I was the year I graduated, I just said, okay, I'm just gonna do music, whatever. And when I got there, Clackamas Community College, and I stepped into the music theory room, that day I quit all my classes. I said, I don't want to do this. This is too hard. This is not what I want to do. I want to do something else. I quit all my music classes, and I just signed up for performance classes. And I said, okay, that's just what I'm going to do. It's fine. And then I realized how stupid that is. And then I signed back up. I almost sold my music theory book. And to this day, I don't understand why I would do that, because I love music theory to death. And I think anybody who knows me, I will talk about music theory all the time. And that's kind of what I want to do. I want to be a music theory teacher. I want to be a band director now, because I didn't realize this passion I had, where I loved music theory this much. Because at the beginning of that, my freshman year of college, I wanted to quit. And I wanted to like literally throw my theory book like out the window. But now, yeah, that's just how I kind of got into music and got really serious in it. And people just eventually liked my playing, like Annabelle and Carson liked my playing. And
I don't like your playing.
Yeah, well.
You're fired.
Don't put me into this.
Anyway, I don't know.
That's wonderful.
People,
I like
people
Tyrus'
just started
the most.
talking to me and wanting me to play for them, and that's kind of how it went. And that's why when I said connections, you develop connections. And people, if you work hard and you become valuable in a way as a musician, and people want you to play. I mean, it helped that there's not many drummers there, but
don't say that.
Well, okay, but if you have good ears and you listen to a lot and you know your influences, you can adapt yourself to a lot of situations, especially as a rhythm section player. Because if you can play funk and you play bossa nova, you play all these grooves, people will be like, oh, can you play this? And then you just play it for them, and they'll be like, okay, you're hired, play the gig kind of thing. But anyway, yeah, that's kind of how I got into music and studied and all that stuff. But,
30 minutes later.
13, yeah, exactly.
I want to just add to that though, because I think, and this is not in Tyrus's case, because I think we're so lucky to have Tyrus. So lucky to have Tyrus. But I think there's also something to be said for, you don't have to be the best musician. You just have to be a really hard worker. And you need to show that you're working, and you need to show that you're still trying to improve yourself. And as long as you just keep showing up and you just keep working, you know, people are going to recognize how valuable that is, because you could be the best musician in the world and not show up to a gig, and then nobody wants you anymore, you know? I think
That's
just
simple.
just keep showing up. That's like probably the biggest, one of the biggest lessons that I've learned.
We had for the MPT festival at CCC.
Could you explain what that is?
It's the Music Performance and Technology degree at CCC. It's like a combo of like there's audio recording classes, and you have to be in this performance class that does covers of like music from the 50s up until now and whatever else. And they, in the 2 years that I was there, they had festivals that were for just like bringing in guest artists, and then they'd have a bunch of workshops and all this other stuff. And during a like panel, one guy, like he said like his biggest tip for being a musician was just don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
If you're an asshole, nobody wants you around, and no one will ask you to play in their bands or.
Was that wasn't the bassist, was it? Was it the bassist with the shaved head?
It might have been. I think it was.
I don't remember.
It actually
asshole.
might have been,
He
what
told
was her
me to
name?
not practice
Mariah?
with Reese.
What?
Mariah Dickinson.
Dickinson.
That's right. I think she said that.
I don't remember.
You'll hear it many
She's a
times.
great singer. We love her.
Yeah.
And also, you don't have to work with a dick either. You don't have to work with bad musicians. You can choose not to, and there are good musicians out there who are not, you know, you can be good, and you can not have to be, you know, full of yourself, or, you know, and that might present itself in any number of characteristics, but, you know, just find your people.
Don't work with dicks, kids. Just no, I'm not gonna say it.
Okay, 2 more questions, and then let's call this video good.
2 more questions.
2 more. So, and these are kind of
Tyrus, you ate
tied
all of our
together.
question time.
I'm sorry.
It was not Tyrus's fault. It's just we could go on for hours. We might have to make another one of these pretty soon. But the last 2 questions are from Anonymous. How did you guys meet, and where are you going? So was there ever a band conversation? Like, how did the band start? What did that look like?
Annabelle and Tyrus met in high school.
That's true. We met in jazz band. I was playing piano that year.
What?
Yeah, I played
You
jazz
played
piano.
Jazz band?
Yeah, sophomore through junior year, and then senior year I started playing saxophone.
Wow.
So that was kind of embarrassing.
I know I've talked a lot, but I could basically I can give this gist on how we met as like Carson and I. Unless you want to talk, you should talk, Carson. You haven't talked much.
No. I don't take it seriously. I was just screwing with you, and I said you talk a lot. You don't talk that much.
I do talk. Anyway, well,
I haven't talked in a month, so I'm okay with
Yeah.
It was December of 2018, and that was the time where I met Carson. We played this little studio gig called Coogie, It's Cold Outside. It was
I watched that
holiday video.
It was cool.
Yeah, was singing and playing bass in it. It was one of the cheesiest videos ever, but it was funny.
What a mess.
If you want to see Tim Cook,
President of Clackamas Community College,
then you can go and watch it now. It's
Lip
amazing.
syncs to my
lip syncs to Carson's singing previous.
And it's like one of my worst vocal performances ever.
I thought it was amazing.
It's about my worst range in my baritone range. So
anyway, yeah. I'm not sure if that was why Annabelle wanted us, but I mean, Carson and I have been playing we're playing with each other. I don't know frequently, but I don't know. You're in jazz combo, and I think Annabelle basically texted me and said, I want to get a band together for this gig, this New Year's gig with my dad. I'm going to do a cover for my dad.
Oh, an opening for my dad's band.
Opening for my dad. Do you want to do it? And I said, sure, I'll play. And she organized it, and then, whatever, 5 days later or something like that, we did like two or three rehearsals of her songs, and she just played them for us, and then we kind of arranged them on the spot. I mean, yep. I did my little hits, Carson had his ideas, and we kind of just made it up right there. The songs were really different compared to what they are now, but it was kind of just like, we just kind of just a jam thing.
Yeah, the secret to act songs, Annabelle writes all of them, and then Tyrus and Raine and I arrange them.
They're a big help. We have a lot of fun. We learn them all by ear.
Yeah, it's super cool.
Yeah.
It's a really interesting way to do it. I think it allows us all to be a part of the creative process, which is really a blessing and helps us develop a cool sound.
Yeah.
It's really organic sound, I'd say, because it's really just kind of on the spot. But it is organized in a way, like there are sections. But anyway, that's kind of how it went. And then we hit the New Year's gig, and we just played it. And then Annabelle was like, I think this is a great opportunity to kind of just wrangle you and Carson. Let's make a band. Like, let's do this more often. And Carson and I were up on the idea. It was like, okay, yeah, let's do a band. I'm cool with that.
I remember we were standing outside outside my house. Everybody was getting in their cars when we brought that up. We were leaving a rehearsal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was just kind of like that.
We started because we played a gig, and then we were like, we should just do this all the time.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we needed more. Segue. Wait, Raine's to my
up this way.
Right there. Raine, go.
I went to see them play at the Brick House, and it was really cool. And then, like, I don't remember, like maybe a couple weeks later, Annabelle came up to me and asked me to play. I don't remember how it went, but
we had another gig.
Yeah, you brought me on to play on Paper Thin for the MPT Garage Band contest. And so we had like a rehearsal and a half, and then I played my little trumpet part, and then we won the competition. And then they asked us to play 2 more songs, and I was like, well, I guess I'll just stand up here. I didn't know the other songs at all. Yeah, so that was really embarrassing, but now there are several songs that I know how to play with you guys, so
you know all of them.
All of them.
Because you're in the band.
And that's how we formed, pretty much.
Things like this don't start with a concerted, like, all right, everybody, let's get together on this day and start it. It's just, if you enjoy doing something with playing music with this person and you have these ideas, you need to get out there and just, sit down in a room and play it and decide right then and there, man. I mean, the act was just a happenstance, like, well, let's do this. And now it's like the thing that we all look forward to in the week or in the month.
Absolutely.
Because it's so fun.
It helps to like your bandmates.
That's a plus, it's a bonus.
Yeah.
I wish I could like my bandmates.
DM. This DM over here.
Oh dear.
Doing Dungeons & Dragons or doing songwriting club.
We have songwriting club. That's right.
Yeah, that's really helps connect people and I don't know, inspire them to do stuff, because there's a lot of good songwriters, I guess, in CCC.
A lot.
There were, but man, it's great. that's kind of how it goes. It's just like the songwriter, I don't know, somebody just was like, oh, I just need rhythm section players, or I need players. I want this sound, and you just do it. And then like if they like you enough, then I don't know, you're kind of in, and it's really up to you to capitalize on that. If you really want to play with them, then you kind of just drop subtle hints and be like, hey, I mean, I'm a good drummer. I could play by ear, or I'm a
or not subtle hints.
Flirting with your bandmates 101. Hey, do you need a drummer?
I can play brushes. I can do other things.
I can play with
I
brushes.
got what you need.
I can also play drums with brushes.
Okay,
I can play with sticks. I can play with your stick.
Okay, let's keep it PG here, folks.
Order.
I'm putting you guys on the spot, but where are we going? What's the act look like?
Well, I will start and say that a music project that you care about, really, if you're going to give it the attention that it requires, it's like a lot of time, and you have to dedicate so many hours to pursuing this with your bandmates or with your peers or whatever. And I mean, in the career of a musician, time is your scarce resource. Like, we run out of time in every way, shape, and form. Like, on top of doing school, I know there's some of us on this call that are accustomed to taking like 20 plus credits every term, and then all of us need to practice, and all of us need to work to be able to eat, because we're starving artists, like they told us. So when it comes to, you know, playing in a band like this, it really takes time to hone your sound, and most importantly, to learn each other and to figure out, you know, how does the drummer click with the bass player, or how does the trumpet line assist the melody in this way, or how can I voice this guitar chord differently. And the act was putting in a lot of time before this whole COVID thing happened. So as far as where we're going, I think we're going to just keep playing and keep on enjoying ourselves, because I don't know what else we can do. I think I would love to see the act be another one of Portland's cherished treasures. But, you know, we'll see. All you can ever really do is your best. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I don't know about you guys. Also, Annabelle is doing a super cool thing and is absolutely amazing, and is going to be pursuing school at Gonzaga, right? Gonzaga in Washington. So that's going to be freaking awesome, which makes our time with each other all that more precious and amazing, because I think it'll probably push us to use our time while we can. So
absolutely.
That's what I have to say.
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful way of putting it, because it is. We put a lot of time into this. I don't think, you know, I feel like we're all probably going to go our separate directions at some point, but I don't think that means that the act is over at all. Like, I feel like
never.
we will always have the act, and we can always meet back up at different parts of time and you know, have a gig and keep the act alive and keep it going. And I think the act is just I think it's not something that we are trying to profit from. It's not something that we're trying to get great wealth out of. We're not trying to abuse it. We're not trying to, I mean, it's hard to do that anyway. But I feel like the act is truly a dedicated effort toward like a collective share of love in music and performing and friendship. And you know, we might want to release a couple songs and a couple more music videos, and we're going to have a tour. And so we've got so many things to do. And we might do those things forever. So I think this is our friendship right here in this band, and we're going to have each other forever. And that's kind of what the act means to me.
Yeah, hell yeah. And if anything, Annabelle's songs are eternal. Like the lyrics that she writes, and like the chord structures and progressions and things when they come along, that stuff is definitely not going to disappear. And she's going to take that shit to Gonzaga. And when it comes to like when you're constructing your rhythm section for wherever you are or whatever you need to be doing, you're going to be like, all right, I already know how this song sounds. So maybe the act was just Annabelle's perfect version of early demos, and now you know how you want your songs to go or how you don't want them
Yes, I use and abuse my band members.
to go. Yeah, right.
My arrangers, my personal arrangers. No, these songs, I consider them our songs because they are truly like all of our creative energy is putting into them. And yeah, I write the lyrics and I write the chords that I play on the guitar, but
Yeah.
funnily enough, it doesn't always come out exactly how I thought it would be. And that's probably one of the most exciting things about it, is that you guys turned it into something completely different. And it's no longer mine, it's ours, it's the universe's, it's whatever you believe in. And I'm super grateful for this band.
Cool.
Cool.
What do you guys think? Do you have any final comments?
Tap that
Raine.
mug.
I guess I have spent a lot of my life planning everything out and like trying to make things be things that they may or may not become, and it's not given me a lot of happiness. So I kind of just I'm thinking about the act just like as like a thing that doesn't have to be anything but what it is, and that I'm always going to put my best into it and do whatever, and wherever it goes is going to be really cool because it already is.
Dope. That was the best.
That was well
That's
said.
my favorite part of whatever we just did, whatever we just filmed. That was it.
What about you, Tyrus?
Well, the act for me was kind of I don't know. I just kind of inserted myself into the music and see what kind of gonna happen. I playing with Annabelle, Carson, and Raine. It's really easy to insert yourself, and for it to work, because I think it's just like we're so open musically and just as a person to just ideas, and we're not really afraid to kind of speak them when musically, or like I literally will just change the groove like all together in a song. I just will just do that and stuff, and it's not like Annabelle stops her guitar and throws it at me and says, "What are you doing with my song?"
Tyrus, you weren't gonna tell them I did that.
We call him Tyrus Bembe Friedstrom.
Yeah,
Babe. Babe.
she'll be like, "Interesting. That's really interesting. What if we put it here or whatever?" Or Carson will be like, "Oh, that's cool. What if we don't do it there?" Or let's do
That's cool. What if we
like, you
don't
put
do
an
that?
idea together, or and everyone's kind of constantly contributing to the musical idea. And although it's a democratic process, I mean, there's no real like set stone like, oh my goodness, this, if we don't play this correct rhythm right here, it's gonna sound weird. It really is kind of just that free flowing music. And what could we kind of, I've said this before, is really the thing about our performances is that you never know kind of what's going to happen. You kind of get the general idea, but if it's like, I don't know, we'll play this part like 10 times quieter, just because like we're just feeling it in that moment. It really is. That's kind of the essence of the act. And I don't think it's really going to change soon, because I mean, it's way more fun to do that rather than try to, be scrutinize everything, because that's just how
obfuscate, make it overcomplicated.
we're just kind of just doing it, and we put our skills out there, and we're skilled enough as musicians to be able to do that because our foundation is strong. And that's really important for any musician, is to have a strong foundation, because if you're able to stand on the ground that you've built, the sky's the limit kind of thing. So that's really the act, is just kind of like that. It's not like freeform jazz, it's just flowing, ever improving, always ideas flowing consistently. It's never just stuck on this one thing.
Yeah.
That's
I totally agree with that, you guys. I love this. I think the long story short answer is we don't know, and we have so much to do. We just have
We want to play more.
We want to play more. We want to keep playing. We love our friends. We love playing with our friends. We love making music and writing together and arranging together. And we've got another music video after this one to come out. We'll probably do some more recordings this summer. We have a tour, to plan, and the act is an eternal thing. That's kind of how I want to look at it.
So there's a surprise here.
Oh no!
Annabelle, you are fired as a
God!
and
What?
I am now our guitarist.
Oh shoot! I've been fired.
You're fired.
Beautiful. Serenade us out, Tyrus.
Okay. I'll keep playing.
Yeah. He's actually playing the guitar. Oh, he's speeding up.
Yeah. Woo! So thank you guys so much for watching this Q&A. I'm gonna pretend I
What
didn't
the
see
hell
that.
was that?
Thank you guys so much for joining us to watch this Q&A. We're so grateful for your time, and we're the act. My name is Annabelle.
I'm Carson.
I'm Raine.
My name's T.
You changed your nickname in the chat. Now
Anyway.
Ben official.
Thank you guys so much for listening. All right. Bye. Bye.